If you ever take a nail down to nail,
Oh, fair.
What, you're going to say hello then?
Well, he's talking to somebody. Damn it, was our boss?
to the drum. Yeah.
Away from the church at these places. You know why? Because the church won't believe. They won't believe because their hearts are hardened. And do you know what they say? We know the word of God. We know the word of God. They may know the word of God, but they don't know God. There's a difference. And that's was exactly the first time I came. The very people that claim to know God. They chased me out of their synagogues. They said I was mad. They said I was a liar.
Yes, well, they did that.
Now, you need to make this choice because I promise you, this is the choice that every single one of you has to make. And it's like this. I'm either mad, a liar,
I'm a Zionist.
or the truth. It can only be one of the three. But I speak very fluently. I speak coherently. I speak what God gives me to say. Because you can't speak in such boldness without God being with you.
Do you like to
You
be
can't. You couldn't do it. You couldn't speak with such faith unless God was with me. And I promise you, He's with me and He wants to be with you. So I'm a liar. You have no reason to put that on me. Because my life is lived according to the word of God. I do the will of Him who sent me. I serve Him
They have no
only Him.
place. Israel is for the Jewish people. That's
I
what
am
they
a
The
Jew.
Palestinians then?
But many of you
No,
won't
Arab,
believe.
let the Arab
And because
countries.
you won't
Well,
believe.
Jews don't live in Arab lands. You think they'd have a Jew in Saudi Arabia or Libya? They'd murder them immediately. They shouldn't be kept as pawns. They should be given proper lives in Jordan.
So they're not human beings according to you, they're
Jordan is
Palestinians.
Palestine. Of course they are. Of course they are. And they have a right to live in their country, Jordan.
For this generation and be rejected by this generation. And that's what's happening now. I'm being rejected because the very people that I come to save don't know me. They don't know me because of the deception upon this earth, and I've come to reveal the deception. I've come to reveal that just as I have lived a life of obscurity, a life in deceit, so have all of you. Because what you don't understand is that there's a war in the heavens, and this war is not just in the heavens, it's in your mind. Satan is relentless. He doesn't give up on you just because you get saved.
That's right.
When you get saved, the battle just starts.
Brother.
And I promise you this, people, There is a battle going on for every single one of your life. But it's more important than life itself because we're talking about your soul.
About 7 o'clock you get a lot of maybe older people coming after work. A lot of different people showing up now than the original protesters. It's amazing how everybody's getting on. It's just incredible. From the sort of ex-prisoner to the sort of chartered surveyor to the...
Most people are supportive, I think.
Yes.
Supportive of the idea of what you're trying to say.
What do you think? We've got somebody preaching on St. Paul's now and dancing for the Lord and handing out.
It's even better to write a hymn.
Huh?
So,
what do you feel about Israel? I was going to hand you. Feel God has brought his people back?
I think all sorts of things are going on there, and if you start looking for fulfillments of Old Testament prophecies, you're on a hiding to nothing.
No, but if God says they're promises, how can we deny it? And he's proven it by bringing the Jewish people back. He's going to make them a blessing. And that's his plan, I believe.
Well, we wait to see them be a blessing.
a blessing.
Well, it's very hard when you've got enemies on all sides.
Oh, yes,
you have to protect your people.
Yes.
But then,
You have to protect them.
do they were established by the United Nations,
Well, it's God's plan.
and
he uses
they
men.
are choosing now to ignore the United Nations.
Oh, the United Nations Theatre of the Absurd. It's the most unbelievable nonsense. I mean, they had Gaddafi on human rights and Mugabe. It's crazy. And it's run by Arabs, for the most part, who will always bring forth what they want.
Be careful,
And,
because
no,
not that many
I
years
have-
ago,
They
people
have
were
their
saying
own
all sorts of
agenda.
things were run by Jews, and it led to the concentration
They will.
camps.
They will. Then again,
But
all
now,
nations will come
if
against
people
Israel.
say,
oh, please take this.
You know, this is
And
being
in
run
the-
by Arabs.
In the
Who knows
do you want one
what
as
it will
well?
do for them?
We shouldn't worry about people having their own agenda. It's a question of making sure that
But I still
where
think
that
God
agenda is
wants
wrong,
to show his
they've
faithfulness to
told.
those people. Because he's a faithful God, and he says, I made a covenant, if you bless the Jews, you'll be blessed, if you curse them, you'll be cursed. And I think it's his, he says in Ezekiel, it's for my name's sake that I'm doing this. And I think, as this man dancing said, it's the future Israel we see, where the Lord will sit on the throne of David. It's more the future Israel that the promises are for than the present Israel. You know,
So what,
the present
do you see
Israel is going. It's still
do you see a
unbelievable.
single state solution then?
I think once they try to divide Jerusalem, it'll be the beginning of sorrows will come. Once Israel makes a peace treaty with any other nation, probably an Arab nation, it's the beginning of the 7-year.
Any peace treaty with any Arab nation?
I don't know. It's that peace treaty in Isaiah 28 we have to watch, a covenant with death. With Sheol, they are in agreement.
Well, that more or
Jerusalem,
less-
Jerusalem will be a reeling stone and injure all the nations. Why do the heathen rage and imagine
So
a
the
vain
Jews
thing?
are above all international negotiation.
No. But they are God's
Or
people.
Israel is.
I think they are defending God's land, and it's a very hard thing to do. Who'd want to be in that position? To look up, would you like to be in Jerusalem defending that land?
But it's very
Wow.
difficult to say that they are
be the
God's
hard-
people and the Arabs aren't God's people. We are all God's people.
Yes, it's a difficult one. They are
is.
chosen to be the stewards of that. A bit like St. Paul's. They're not better. They're just merely stewards and being responsible for it. And we're all loved by God. If we're all in position, I just feel it's like with the story of Hagar. She had to submit to Sarah or leave. I think the Jews, the government will come forth from Jerusalem.
But it needs to be a slightly more tolerant one, a slightly more
Well,
understanding
if
one.
God can do it and have his way, he will pour out his grace and supplication on them. But at the moment, it's all defence and war, isn't it? What time do they have? They gave one man for 1,027. And a lot of the IDF are very upset because they say we captured these men, we risked our lives, now you go and give them back. What do you want us to do? It's not easy for...
Well, it's not easy being an Israeli politician.
can't be.
You're right.
It's not easy being an Israeli when missiles are coming over your border at unpredictable hours, and
It isn't.
there's something got to be done about that. But I think that, Winston Churchill said, jaw is always better than war.
Well, what is, sorry?
Jaw is always better than war. Yes, enough of both.
And those who
But
want
I don't
peace
know how
will
long
pursue
we're going to
peace.
have war. There will be a war. And Syria worries me. They seem to have escaped anything.
Well, I think they'll shrink back within themselves, won't they? I think they will, anyway.
I'm sure if we search deeply enough in Scripture, we can find something to justify some piece of bloodiness toward any nation,
Oh, yeah.
and that should satisfy quite a few folk. Sadly.
I know. It's not right, is it? But the Prince of Peace will come back
it.
one day.
Hi. What's that? Yes.
So what was this, sorry?
This was written, it will be sung in the church for the first time this coming Sunday.
Okay.
The God who led his people out from Egypt's slavery still hears his poor ones when they shout, "Come, Lord, and set us free." Are we held captive by our wealth, the plenty we enjoy, and think our life, ourself, our health are bound up with this toy? Do we hold others in our debt and forge fresh prison chains, holding to wrongs we won't forget, and worshipping our gains? From inside each to nation states, and reaching through the world, the bogus justice self creates, breeds sins in which we're found. As we make prisoners of the ones we fail to love in you, so we, God's daughters and his sons, enter a prison too. Then come our saving Judge and King, whose word we can't gainsay. Destroy the false to which we cling, and make us new today. may we receive your gift of grace and live rejoicingly and meet you in each time and place as truth that sets us free. The X Factor ain't, but I ain't bloody resigning.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can I just have your name, please?
Yes, it's Kevin Barnard,
Thank you very much.
and that will be sung for the first time in church at St Mary's Bolsterstone in South Yorkshire.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Now tell me you work for the CIA.
People like us, and people like the normal general public, who actually want to make a stand against them, who decide to, hang on a minute, we've had enough, keep this technology, because basically as soon as all of knowledge is free, human race can stand tall, and that is what we're fighting for, free knowledge, and give us the power, give us the information, give us the universities for everybody, education for everybody,
Can I ask a question then? Are you suggesting that political solutions are not viable and only technological solutions are the
Well,
viable
technological
options?
solutions is the way of the future,
Yeah.
and we've got all the technology on our fingertips right now to be able to use that. But at the moment, it's being kept by the very few at the very top for themselves, for military purposes mostly. The energy, we've got ways to actually power the whole planet without using nuclear power, without using the resources of the planet.
guaranteed.
We've got ways of using hydroelectric and other types of energies.
So is then politics just a method of control?
Well, no, a method is just a way of the sheep following the politics, thinking that that's what is actually running the country, when it's in fact nothing but. The actual people running the country are the people running the politicians. The same people running politicians for the last 200 years. It's that same families.
people, right?
Well, the Illuminati, you can put them to one name to call them that if you want to.
Yeah.
And we're actually standing right now in the heart of Illuminati territory. This is the centre.
Are they real though? Is this like? Well, there's a lot been about it.
They are real. Yeah. The Rockefellers are part of them. You've got
Scientology.
Well, Scientology are part of it. And they don't like us very much. Anonymous UK, and they hate us actually.
Oh, no,
we're at war with them.
right?
We call them a cult, which is now labelled as being arrestable offence. Oops, sorry guys. But at the end of the day, we've got to actually expose the corruption. And once you expose the corruption, and then follow the corruption, not from the roots, but to the very, very top of the corruption, which is where it lies, and then kill the planet, kill the actual tree of corruption. Not this country, it's the whole planet.
Don't you think until technological solutions actually are able, to be given to people, that they're not going to be able to corrupt that, because that's part of human nature itself?
Well, obviously, as soon as you get rid of one corruption, then another corruption spring up. This is human nature, it is. But at the moment, we've got a technology that we don't need to have that, and people don't need to even work necessarily in the future. I mean, we could be using that energy instead.
Sustainable energy, right?
So the energy itself, because we've got enough technology to build bots to do most of the work. The people themselves can dedicate themselves to learning and to education, which obviously computers can't do that well. Because we are in such a advanced robotic system, human being, and our mind is so amazing that we can, as a collective consciousness, come up with some amazing stuff and actually even travel to the stars. That we've got that. I mean, I don't realise how we haven't even landed on the moon since the 1960s. When we've got the technology now to land on Mars, land on Saturn, land everywhere, even actually travel to another stellar solar system. But at the moment, with the technology, we've actually got the technology now to actually use that, and they are using it at the moment, but they're not actually telling us. They're saying, oh well, it's a solar storm, or well, there's something else. It's like the heart graph just went missing. They did go missing. They flew it so fast that it broke the speed of light and disappeared. Probably morphed into another time frame or something. Probably gone and landed in the Aztecs. But we don't know where the heart went. They said, oh, it burns up over the atmosphere. I don't believe that at all. But that's just me. That's not anonymous. Yeah. The thing is, the more it's like a rabbit hole, the deeper you delve, the deeper it goes, and then you don't know where you're going to end up. And
I think one of the biggest fears I've got is the prospect of war. World War.
It's on the way.
I think that's a real prospect, and I'm very fearful.
Well, you do have to be fearful, because every single person here is a being of light, is eternal consciousness. You can't die. Your body might get destroyed, but then you won't actually die yourself. You just you can't. It's impossible.
Well, it's see, you've only got to have one idiot get up and say, oh, this is all a complete mess, you need strong government. Once that sort of gains currency within the language of the media, it's very dangerous. It's like this thing that happened in Norway, where this guy, this madman, went and shot all these people on the island just outside Stockholm. Outside Stockholm, and the trouble is, he was projecting a lot of the arguments that's been peddled around for a long while. Racist arguments. And the same thing goes for the argument about strong government, war and fascism. I was born in the latter part of the last war. And I went through quite a bit of privation and shortages and everything else. We all did. And I don't want to see this happen.
Well, my penny's worth is this. Okay, I believe what we're doing now is in fact a social experiment. Okay, that is it's kind of a rehearsal for a massive cataclysmic disaster for us to hit the planet. Okay, it could be Nibiru, it could be any of the things we want to call it. World War III was most likely complicated it. Okay, now this is the sort of thing that would happen where cities around the world, the ones that survive, the actual survivors coming together into one area and begin to rebuild civilizations. And how do you build a better civilization from the ground up? And this is the kind of thing which we're doing now. It's an open debate. People have their own ideas, and to me, this is what I believe myself.
That's the sort of John Holloway's argument.
Basically, this is what I'm basing it.
That argument has its flaws.
Then you wouldn't have a world currency after that, you see. We would have to invent a new system, which we don't know what it'll be.
Isn't capitalism like a form of anarchy anyway?
Well, capitalism is dead. It's going to die. It's on it. You can see once the euro collapses and then the dollar collapses, and then it will spiral into absolute chaos. People will be rioting in the streets because they've got no money, and all the money are just numbers on a computer anyway. So that's with no money left. What are you going to do? So that's going to be now. So it's on its last legs now. We're just basically. Have you ever seen the film 300? When you've got the Spartans and he's standing on the end, that guy says, "This is madness," and then Spartan goes, "This is Sparta!" and boots him down the well. That's what we're doing to the banks right now. We got to that point where the banks are on the edge.
Yeah, but they're like sitting, they're driving around in front of Mercedes and shit.
And you play the instruments as well?
I asked you nice, and said please.
We will never surrender.
But you found me a fool, just crawl on his knees. You're spiteful and hard, and you're mean with a twist. You stick out your tongue, but it takes but a kiss. But I will never surrender. You just can't have trust, you just can't have faith. Cause you thought you could, that was your big mistake. No other choice, the lines of battle are drawn. Faces reflecting on the anger and scorn. But we will never surrender. We're treading the path that's been trodden before. We're marching side by side like we did in the war. History will show who is right and who's wrong, and how when people slowly grew to be strong. And we will never surrender. And as the trumpets rally on to the call, everybody will remember how they shouted, we will never surrender. No, we will never, ever, whatever the weather, we're standing together, we're fighting forever, until it gets better. Believe me, we will never surrender. You don't understand my heartache and pain. win, but if you thought it through, the revolution's here, this is your Waterloo. Cause we will never surrender. A family love is delivered with ease. Poverty beckons like a creeping disease. Men, women, children stepping up to the line. Everybody's sensing that this is their time, and we will never surrender. As the trumpets rally out to the call, everybody will remember how they shouted, we will never surrender. No, no, we will never, ever, whatever the weather, we're standing together, we're fighting forever, until it gets better. Believe me, we will never surrender. Whatever the weather, we're standing together, we'll be fighting forever, until it gets better. Believe me, we will never surrender. No, we will never, ever, whatever the weather, we're standing together, we'll be fighting forever, until it gets better. Believe me, we will never surrender.
That? Yeah. It was very good, that. So?
I said it's very good for Dimanche.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Keep
Yeah.
yourself warm and
Well,
good
got to have something
text,
out there.
enthusiastic text.
You've been so enthusiastic, I'll give you a CD. See, I don't want any money for it, but the lads have got to have a song to get behind, show the other idiots that we are what we are. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Oh, keep it. I'm from Germany.
God bless you then.
It will go away.
Tough, yeah.
Keep it.
Great, well I've got a load of that anyway.
You have my number.
Yeah, have it on here.
This is my pitch.
I have an idea about
So,
and make things for my
did you get that? Do you want one?
I got one then.
Yeah.
Nice one.
It's published, and that's the publisher on there.
Yeah.
Plus his number on there.
Well, thank you both very much. Anyway.
So,
Good stuff, thank you.
yeah. So, have a good day.
Cheers, mate.
Let's go.
But now is important. I know the history, you know. I want to know where we're going now. This is the most important time, you know. Now this is blooming. We haven't got a good picture of, you know, things is happening. So we have to know what is it, you know, where we're going.
No time before.
I don't want to go back to Roman time. I know about Roman time.
No. We must know.
I know. We know that.
No, but if you don't know, we will do the same mistake. For that to happen. No, the problem is that we the people are allowing, right? Because we at one stage we probably thought it was a good idea because we had trust in our hearts and in our minds. We are allowing people to make decisions in a big way about our lives. Yeah. We're allowing them to control our lives.
And it's not good for us.
And it's not good. We are allowing them to tell you what you are allowed to think, what you are allowed to say, and where you are allowed to go and what you can do. If you want to go from here to there, you've got to pay. If you want to go from here to there, you've got to pay. Everything's about the money, right? If you want to live somewhere, you've got to pay. If you want food, you've got to pay. It's all under control. Well, I'm glad you understood it, brother.
I don't. His point is that, you know, the situation we are in now is because we didn't do the right thing in the past.
Yeah, but that's what's been done over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome, brother. See you back home.
In other words, what's happening now is the result of the mistakes we have made in the past.
No, not we. Not we.
No. I don't mean you individually.
Not our mistakes. Cool. Brother, what we got to start doing is naming what it is. Look, when we first come to this protest, there's a sign that says we are the 99. We are the 99%, right? Now, who is the 1%? Who is this one?
Who are
Who's the people?
who votes in elections?
Look, bro, forget the votes. Who is the 1%?
No, but that's the real problem.
1%,
Look
you know,
in the elections.
One at a time. Who is the 1%?
1% maybe, you know, me and you,
control
we
the
don't
money.
see them. We don't know. They are behind,
We
you know,
know who makes war.
We know
The bankers.
1% is the Rockefellers,
Yeah.
the Rothschilds, the Bilderberg.
Bilderbergs.
These are the richest people on the globe.
They meet
that
every
they are,
year.
they are making the main decision,
Main decisions.
for us, for
For
that
us.
99%. That's
And-
how they
and-
have to
and-
live, how
and-
they have to.
Exactly.
But
And we are living
something,
that.
you know, I can't understand. Why they are choosing such a stupid way all of a sudden? You know what I mean? They're changing the whole rules. They're changing the
They have
whole.
to.
It's
They have
something
to.
that for many centuries
They have
we're
to,
getting
brother. They
used
have
to
to.
it. You know.
Brother, look,
now all of a
it's clever
sudden.
thinking. Look, if I say to you, look, man, you can stay here, yeah? We can stay here. Like they've said, we can stay in St. Paul's, but you can only stay over there. And then the next day they come and say, look, man, sorry about this, but now you can only stay in this little part, and then this little part, and then eventually you say, look, just stand where you are and don't move. In the same way, that's what's been happening. We've been allowing our freedoms to be taken away.
They're crushing us.
They're crushed. And you know who they blame for that? They blame us. You know how? I'll tell you how. When you had the riots in London recently, yeah, you know the London riots.
Yeah, I know.
Before the London riots came, Obama has already inaugurated a system where 16-year-olds have to attend what is like a community service, right? What they actually are getting trained in is how to love the government, the state, the system. Not your parents, not empathy, love, compassion. Love the system and what the system tells you to do and think. Now, after the riots in London, you had Cameron saying they are going to inaugurate this as well. Now the 16-year-olds in England are going to have to start doing this very soon. If people believe that what these kids actually going to be doing is standing there and saying, right, what I want you to do is go up to that person and give him a hug and tell him how nice he is, it's not going to be about that. This is about controlling the children's minds. Brother, they start when you're young. By the age of 2 years old, do you know how many vaccinations we have in this country? 26. 26.
You have TVs.
Sorry?
You have TVs. You have people of 30 years old voting these people.
Yeah. You know why?
And the
You know
TV is
why?
a cathedral.
You know
you
why?
see, and
But
this
do
is
you
the
know why?
truth.
Because
Do
they're
you
not
know
telling
why?
the truth.
No, not telling the truth, but you see, you can't say nothing.
Yeah, but
you see
No,
this.
you can't.
And this is the truth.
That's why people are working together now to do
Exactly.
something
Now
about
look
it.
around you. It's the same
I work for 600 libras, pounds.
Brother, all I'm saying to you is this: there are many people out there that are still zombies, still asleep. And the reason
Or
is
people.
because they have the minimal comfort they have. They have a television screen, a roof, and a bit of food. That is comfort for most people, because that's really ultimately what, on this level, what we need, right? Now, if you're getting X Factors, Emmerdale Farm, EastEnders, just eating away, watching this nonsense on the television while there are people being bombed, starved, and mutilated, children are being used in satanic rituals globally, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of children are being abducted from their families. You can go to the family courts in Soho Square and you can see the law system that they've got. One couple, their children was taken away from them. You know why? Because they couldn't fill out forms. So the social services...
I don't understand.
Okay, imagine you and your wife, you have a child. Imagine I'm social service and I come to you and I say, fill in this form. And you say, sorry, I can't fill it. Now, really? Let me take your child and give
Because
them
you're
to
not
somebody
good
else.
for them.
These things are happening every
That's
single day.
happened.
Every single
this
day.
country.
Every day. Across the world, every single day. It's happening. Thousands and thousands of children. Now, people like the Fabian Agenda, the London School of Economics, all the attendees of that place, they're all part of this eugenics program as well, which are trying to cull the population of this planet. They're trying to decrease the numbers of us here. So you can imagine what's on their way. Apart from the poisons that are making us die earlier, little kind of wars, manipulated earthquakes and all this kind of thing, because all that can be done. You think that what happened to Japan really wasn't a tsunami?
Manipulates the earthquakes.
Oh no, I see your facial expression. I see your facial expression.
No,
if
that's...
I had you
They
here,
put it on telly this
if I
morning.
had here, if I had you,
Join the discussion.
That's
if I had
people...
here, the guy that is coming out of the CIA,
It's secret.
Hold on.
That's
the FBI and explaining, look man, this is fact. This is fact. That this tsunami was instigated as a nuclear explosion underneath the ground. This is fact. It's fact. Look where it was, bruv. Look at the nuclear reactors.
Well, yeah, it was a part of the world where there's a fault in tectonic plates.
Exactly.
They're growing together.
I read about that. Does that mean then it was purely tectonic plates, or could there be another reason?
A human being can't be
possibly
like this.
With that,
I mean, but possibly the moon could be made of chips.
I tell you, if you want to talk about the moon, that's another subject as well.
They admitted on the telly this
Trust
morning.
me. What I say to you is, you seem to me, right, like you have got a mind that is willing to look at things. That's how you come across,
I can't believe
right?
it.
If you have,
I read about that.
Because at least you've still got it.
I like to think of myself as a rational person and skeptic.
Whilst you've still got it,
the human being can't do that.
Think so?
Whilst you've still got it,
In my language.
whilst you've still got the open-minded and rational thinking and all that.
This is your point, but my point is...
Go on the web.
Okay.
Go.
The human being...
Go on the web and
you
just
can't
type
believe it,
like
but
that.
you can't believe it because you don't believe another human
whatever
would do
subject
it.
you want. And you'll see this stuff start popping
you believe
up.
in God?
People that are coming out from the CIA,
And I believe
the FBI,
in the human
the
being.
insiders,
Yeah, so
saying
do
to us,
I.
look man, there's other things.
God is about human
The world
beings.
outside doesn't know this, but this is what's going on.
Do you know who is when
why would the CIA
Jesus
or
goes
the
to
FBI want to
the
let off a
mountain
nuclear weapon
and talk?
to start a tsunami in Asia?
That is a fantastic question. You know why, bro?
You know.
Only because it's the one thing that a lot of people haven't really got time for anymore, which is fair enough. But when you start looking at who is the head of these organisations, who really is fronting these organisations, then you start getting a little bit closer to why. And it doesn't take long before you get a reason. Brother, listen. President Obama related to Dick Cheney. You know that? Related cousin.
Well, even if he was, so what?
Okay. Dick Cheney.
I can give you much more cogent version. George W. Bush was related
there are
to
more
George
people
Bush's
who said,
father.
amen.
Oh, he was head of the CIA.
Right.
So,
But
doing deals with Saddam Hussein, doing deals with Osama bin Laden, doing deals with all of these people that they went out and go and eradicate.
Yeah.
Not only was Dick Cheney and Obama, when I'm talking to you that 78% of all presidents of the United States have been related to the British royal family, who in turn are related to the European
Well, I mean,
monarchs.
how far back? How far back are you going?
Thousands of years.
How far back? Well, yeah, I mean, all right, if you go back a couple of million years, we're all
Anyone
related to each other.
can be president.
You know, so I mean...
No, not like that, bro. Not like that. Anyone can be president in the United States. My arse,
No,
they
of course
can
not.
be.
Of course not, because it's a certain kind of power structure and
Right,
goes on.
and it's engineered, bruv. They're primed. They're primed. They're primed for a reason, so that they're brought in and they put in a new stage of the agenda. Change that, man. Bring in the next start of the agenda.
Well, I mean,
you know about the Illuminati and all that. Most people think, there you go, there's that face.
Yeah,
now,
man,
listen,
I mean,
5 years ago, everyone here would have
huddling
gone.
around with the name Zurich.
Everyone here would have been, bruv. The Illuminati are a real thing. The Freemasons are a real thing.
Oh, I know the
Skull and
Freemasons
Bones
are a
are a
real
real... Right.
Off them. They lend it to us. So to pay the money back, we have to borrow more because there's interest on what they've lent us. So the only people that can give us money are them, and every time we borrow, we pay interest on it, right? So when every time the government borrows money for a social program, then they have, they're making money off it because they get the full benefit of it when it trickles down. You know, the more money in circulation, the less it's worth. So really, do you have a tent here? No, we just come down for the day.
I think if you start spraying on the walls, then you might see some quick evictions.
No, they should spray on the walls.
Yeah.
Usury is a sin. Why is the Bank of England engaged in usury? When the Catholic Church was in control, usury was illegal. You go to a Muslim country, it's illegal. That's why we killed Gaddafi. We killed Gaddafi because Gaddafi isn't part of this, doesn't have a central bank. You know, who was the person who said we should have central banks?
The central bank of Gaddafi.
Karl Marx.
He owns a lot of stuff.
Karl Marx said the whole thing of communism, socialism is central bank.
Yeah, well,
so really, the
not
people
the
who
whole
invented communism were the bankers.
Just a minute. It wasn't. If he said that, it should mean that as part, the money should be part of the social.
In Libya, they have the highest standard of living of any Muslim country in the world. So we killed them.
Well, all of them, or average?
No, of all of them.
No,
in general.
Vietnam. I'm talking about if you say you talk about the average income, including millionaires, and you say that's highest.
Well,
And then
do you
that-
know
and
why
then
they
you-
killed Gaddafi? Because he had the audacity to say he was going to sell his oil in gold and silver and not dollars. So we killed Gaddafi to protect the banks because they print
Well,
their
you
money.
mean the revolt as such?
Al Qaeda, the Al Qaeda fighters.
was instigated.
No, the revolt was made by the Al Qaeda fighters who came from outside the country.
Yeah.
Who came in. We're backed by NATO. If you look, the Al Qaeda flag is flying in Libya. Al Qaeda are running
I've
it.
never seen the Al Qaeda flag.
Al Qaeda are foreign mercenaries who work for the
what
Western.
flag? What's it
I
look
don't
like?
know. They have
Oh.
it. It's flying above it. Some flag, but it's
okay.
It's flying above it now. They're denying it, even though it's there.
Guys, I've got to go because the light is going.
Okay.
So I've got to get some shots. I've got to get some shots for ITV. So doing
Oh,
my
really? I thought you
daily
were-
duty to help the media show what's happening
Yes,
here.
these mad Irish
Do you,
people.
do, do,
On
do you
the
think
green.
the media always show what's happening? Do you think it's always?
Always unbiased.
Unbiased.
We're in the middle.
If that
Yeah.
was true, why did Kate Eddy say that she wouldn't go to the war in Iraq because she wasn't allowed to tell the truth? She refused to go, she quit, and she just resigned. She's a head correspondent for the BBC because in Iraq, the media lied.
So are you saying that the ITV is unbiased?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Because I'm biased. Simple as that.
It's about what they choose.
Everybody is different. Remember, every journalist treats every story in their own way, but we try and be unbiased.
We live in a world of double standards. One law for them and one law for we. They say what is legal and what is a crime. They say what they want to say to justify their actions. Who are the terrorists and who are the heroes? Who are the terrorists? Who are the heroes? Come tell me, who are the terrorists? Who are the heroes? Double standards, who are the terrorists? Who are the heroes? Who are the terrorists? Who are the heroes? Make law. When Adolf Hitler tried to conquer the world with his evil regime, anybody who fought against him was a hero. They fought fire with fire. And for many years there has been a regime every bit as evil as Adolf Hitler. But if you fight against the apartheid system, they say you are a terrorist. Who are the terrorists? Who are the heroes? Come tell me, who are the terrorists? Who are the heroes? Double standards, who are the terrorists? Who are the heroes? Who are the terrorists? Who are the heroes?